Feature Friday.
The freshest. We haven't checked out some of her work for a really long time, and I'm talking about Janine Berdin, and I actually love her stuff.
I like that whole like group of like Janine, Juan Carlos, you know, Zil,
yes,
Enamori, Timothy Run.
Yeah, one click straight. Like you could go through a whole rabbit hole.
I don't know
like,
if they're all friends.
Alternative
they might be,
rock.
But that is like a whole genre. That's
it
like
is, and the scene is really prolific in the Philippines when it comes to alternative rock.
Big fan base, actually. Yeah, she's done a cover of "Angels Like You" originally by Miley. She's like just chilling.
Oh, very cool VHS feel.
Whoa, she tattooed her knuckles. It hurts, bro.
Do you see why we love her? Listen to that texture.
That's a sick
texture.
filter.
Texture.
Flowers in hand, waiting for me. Every word in poetry.
I freaking love her. I love her. I love her.
That's top, dog.
Yes.
Name only baby. The more that you give, the less
She's a lot of texture.
Everyone says I look happy when it feels right.
I love that. Okay, now I love the texture. I love the cinematography, like videography situation that's happening here. It's very vulnerable. I actually think Janine's version is even more emotional than the original.
Well, it's one of the benefits of having such texture and such natural color. I think also what's really cool about it is, you know, there's always the argument of, you know, covers and then having your original work. But I'm actually quite pleased with her original work in terms of the way she's able to still encapsulate this, not only her image, because she does have like an image that's congruent with her style of music, but her sound and sort of their emotions. We were talking about this, like individuals like her, we think they're actually quite complex and probably have a lot of inner turmoil, as you can probably tell.
But they make great music, so
everything comes at a price,
When it feels right, I know that you're wrong for me. Gonna wish we never met on the day I leave. I brought you down.
A lot of change.
Me too, isn't it cool?
'Cause they say the misery loves company. It's not your fault I ruined everything.
Yeah.
And it's not your fault I can't be what you need.
And she can keep this going live as well, which I'm very, very impressed.
Well, if you actually look closely at what's happening here in terms of vocal technique, there is a choice to be to include that crookiness in the voice. In that verse section, it sounds tired, it sounds like this is an effort, but as soon as the higher register stuff comes in, she decides to go into a clearer note, which then again shows you the agility in terms of vocal technique and the reason why she's able to reproduce some of this sound, some of this textured sound in a live environment.
Places like ASAP and all of those sort of live shows.
Baby, angels like you can fly down hell with me.
It's a very good version.
I'm everything they said I would be.
You see that crookiness that
She brings it in. It's an asset.
it's really cool.
I'm everything they said I would be.
It's very congruent with the style.
Slow, love you goodbye before we let go. Just one more time.
I like the uneasiness with the VHS filter camera. That's cool.
You can do so much with so little.
I totally agree.
This new generation, I think, is the best at that. Like, especially the TikTok era kids and stuff. I guess she is one of them, right?
Well, she
Does
is.
a lot of
She is
TikTok.
young in terms of like
young as balls, right? And
she's like 20?
19, yeah.
Yeah, just like 20.
And I think they're quite smart in that sense because they've realized like the magic of filters, the image, coloring, and
the congruency in style comes in rather early thanks to social media. And I think
they're so exposed to so much shit constantly.
Correct. And then you have a plethora to choose from when it comes to like, ooh, what resonates with me and how can I explore that style a little further. And if you're naturally an artistic person like Janine and her generation, then you kind of like understand why they lean so naturally well into this style.
It won't kill you tonight. Mama says you don't look happy. Close your eyes.
Yeah, that crookedness is definitely a choice and not a mannerism.
Know that you're wrong for me. Gonna wish we never met on the day I leave.
I think Chakra Khan has a version of this.
That's true. I think it does.
Cause they say the misery loves God.
You see, there is
Because that shot is also unreal.
I love, again, yeah, it's such a great balance of grunge with acoustic style of covers, and
It's
then it's such
elusive.
it is.
I actually wonder what she's like as a person, and what her writing process is as a person.
It would be interesting
As
to
an
have
artist.
a little chat. Yeah.
Yeah, she would be quite an intriguing, I think, podcast. I don't
Also,
know if
her
she's done interviews and
lyricism,
stuff.
her lyricism is quite interesting too, both in Tagalog and in English. I
Very
like
big.
how she expresses her mind.
Very Gen Z.
Yeah.
Baby, angels like you can fly down hell with me.
Nice.
Whoa, whoa.
See, I love that change. And you hear that? Yeah, come on.
Nice. That's very good choice.
Oh,
Good choices.
send her money.
Sometimes she's Adele-esque, early Adele.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Adele before the nodules.
Adele before the damage.
Correct.
Both vocally and spiritually and personally and
No,
business-wise.
she was already broken when she comes out with a 19.
Nah,
but
bro, she hadn't gone through divorces yet.
That's true,
That's
but she
damage.
was broken then.
She have a kid, right?
She has.
Yeah, there you
a
go.
little boy. Divorce, babe, divorce.
They say the misery loves company. It's not your fault I ruined everything.
Nice.
And it's not your
Damn.
fault I can't be what you need. Baby, angels like you can fly down hell with me.
Banging. Oh, wow, she's still not fucking covering her bathroom.
This is cool. I like this stuff.
I can't take one more step towards you.
See, this is really what I'm talking about stylistically, right?
Also, she likes this stuff. I
Yeah,
see.
it makes sense.
And don't you know
I don't know
I'm
this one.
not your ghost anymore.
Yeah, I do. There
You
wasn't
lost the
Christina
love
Perry one a
is.
winner of one of the.
Jar of Hearts is called Christina
Yeah,
Perry.
I think that's like her winner song for like X Factor, something
Learn
talent.
to live half a life.
I like her version of it.
Oh,
It's
this
like-
song.
And now you want me one more time.
You see, what a cool choice.
Because that can be quite dangerous, though, isn't it? If it wasn't a choice, if it was actually
A natural
Mannerism.
vocal mannerism, yes, definitely. I also think there is you could say that with this style, you find yourself kind of like constricted, confined, like, but I also do think the argument could be that, you know, she's still discovering what she can do. She's still playing around. She's still putting in work in terms of like trying different songs from different artists,
It's interesting
putting
as
her
well.
own color into things. So
Like, if you look at her YouTube channel, right? Like, you can kind of, because her YouTube channel is more like a diary, I feel. Like, it's quite personal. Even though it has, like, nice production and the sound is cool. But, like, if you look at it, like, 9 years ago,
yeah.
right? Like, her All of Me John Legend cover.
She was
tiny
a baby
little...
to begin with.
My head's underwater, but I'm breathing fine.
Oh, it's cute. I love this.
And I'm out of my mind.
So she still had that obviously the natural color that she obviously possesses. And I guess even some of the choices that she was making 10 years ago, 9 years ago.
Correct.
All of me, love.
See, she even had the idea of bringing some of the... I don't know if here was a choice. Perhaps she sort of refined it as she's gone.
All of you, love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, give my all to you.
It's nice though. You see a lot of the natural inclinations that she would later grow into, and that's what I mean when you see a singer that's like stylistically stuck to a sound, to a style. They're still discovering things to do, and that there's growth that always happens in this
So
part.
so that's nearly 10 years ago, right? This is
crazy.
then 6 years ago. Ukulele.
I never felt this way.
You hear some of those.
Can't get enough, so stay with me. Not like we got big plans. Let's drive around town holding hands. And you need to know you're the only one, alright.
It feels like it's so interesting when you look back at someone's journey, right? Where they had some pieces of the puzzle,
Yes.
right? And then when you see their most recent work, you're seeing all of
Everything
those
full together.
Yeah, so
come
some
together.
of the crookedness ideas from really earlier in the years, then her more sort of pop sounding, fuller sounding, that sort of early Adele-esque sound of things. This is more of that.
But that diaphonic edge that she's always had, it's
Was
been
prevalent.
so prevalent, and I think that's part of her natural color.
Oh, my heart is so good. I love you, babe. So bad, so bad.
And look, absolutely no effort, and that is that's a golden key right there.
Get close to me.
And obviously even styling, like some of the clothes she was wearing and stuff. That was 6 years ago. Then if we look back
2 years
2
ago.
years ago, so it's quite a jump. Also, she's also maturing as a person and as an
Correct.
artist.
You're seeing a child grow into an adult, which is so cool as well.
I'm at the bottom of the list.
I love the
I'm not the type to
song.
take a risk.
I
You see
freaking
my
adore
name
the
and ask
lyrics
who's
here.
this?
That's her own
That's her own song,
Yeah.
yeah.
Love it is what it is.
Yeah, I've seen this in a park. She's like chilling in the floor in Thailand.
Yeah.
Goals to do no wrong, whichever breeze will go along. Bury my thoughts in all my songs, cause my music is where I belong.
Yeah, so all of a sudden the changes are not so drastic, but what you're saying is, I call it calibration. I call it marinating. That things
Yes,
are
yes.
starting to settle. And then when you look at what we just checked out, there isn't that big of a difference in the 2 years. But what you're saying is just more maturity and more girth in the decisions that she has made.
And congruency. Overall, you fall into a congruent style naturally. But I think in our generation, and I'm talking about from the millennials' perspective, just a generation before, where we didn't have the opportunity to experiment so broadly in our own times in terms of like styles. Like they were there, and then we played around with some of the stuff visually. Like we would have gone and taken pictures and posted them on Facebook or something like that.
MySpace.
Or MySpace and things like this. And he had a style and he had a feel, but I feel like a lot of these tools that are available for Gen Z and like the younger generations have aided some of that artistic process for a lot of singers and for a lot of stylistically congruent artists,
Social media can cause depression or make great artists.
or both.
Goodbye.